Good morning, friends. Welcome on this lovely morning to Journey Home Meditation for the morning sit. This week we are coming together as I'm sitting seaside in Seaside, Oregon, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, and boy, I am happy to be here. Yeah, it's quite beautiful. I want to see if I can take this and give you all a view. So that's what I'm seeing this morning out of my window. It's a pretty happy place to be, really. Okay. Yeah, I'm here this week for a conference, for the Peerpocalypse 2024 conference. It's a gathering of peer support specialists, and I've talked about it a little bit this week each day, so I won't go into it too much, but peer support is relatively new in our culture. It's been around a little over a decade or so as an official kind of certified job title, but only in the last few years do we really see people recognizing the benefits of being supported by someone with lived experience, and also recognizing that lived experience is valuable, and someone who is willing to take on a role of being present with someone else in their suffering because they have a lived experience, a similar experience, is worthy of being paid. It's worthy of making a living and being able to feed themselves and their family and have the things that they need and desire in this life to do that work. It is amazing work. And my honest perspective is that I see leaps and bounds in the benefits of people spending time with peers who are performing these tasks together with you, of working through pain and trauma and fear and addiction and mental health crisis, all of these different things. I see far more benefits coming out of this than I've ever seen in my almost 30 years of experiencing the psychiatric world of the West. I think that it's indisputable that connecting to other people is the strongest way for us to find our path to health. And I think that peers are leading the forefront in this. But that's probably a whole nother discussion. And I'm just happy to be here today to share this morning sit with you. And I'm grateful that I was able to receive some funding to have this room and spend this time with 1,000 or so friends. Yesterday, a couple of us decided to go jump into the Pacific Ocean, and it was wonderful. And I plan to do it each day that I'm here. So I can't recommend that enough, getting into the water. And I understand that not everybody can do that. Not everybody has access to natural sources of water that are clean. uh, and for all these things. But if you can find your way into a natural body of water, uh, do that as often as you can. There is just something magically transformative about this earth. So I don't think I need to say anything else about that. Let's get into the 4 agreements, shall we? This week, because there's 4 days in the week that I'm here at this conference, we're going to do one of Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements. And I've got this little pocket-sized compendium that I got for a couple dollars used at a bookstore. But the 3rd agreement, we've gone through the first 2. We'll recap quickly here. The first agreement, of course, is be impeccable with your word. This is really about understanding that you do have a place within power, right? When you are here, you are empowered and you are empowering others. And your words, the things you speak into this world about yourself and about others, make a difference. It makes a profound difference in some ways. It makes a difference in the way that you view the world. It makes a difference in the way you believe the world to be. And it makes a difference in others and the way they see you and they see themselves. And to be impeccable with your word means to take that responsibility with a level of humility and seriousness, and to speak truthfully. It's really what it means. If you are speaking with deep truth, there are all these layers in our lives, right? Like I could speak my truth with big air quotes, keep it real, and tell you how angry I am about something that you did or something somebody else did. And there's one layer there where I might be telling a truth. I might be telling the truth of my emotional experience right there, but that's not telling the truth of why I'm emotionally charged in that way. What has constituted my life to get to a place where this experience has me feeling a certain way, and why it is I'm believing a feeling. I'm not talking about an instinct. I'm not talking about not trusting yourself or trusting your gut. I'm talking about an emotional feeling, which are really easily manipulated. We can be easily manipulated with our emotions. A really great short story that I love is a dedicant, a new monk to a monastery is there. And every day he's working 16 hours a day, right? Sweeping floors, polishing marble deities, doing dishes, scrubbing pots and pans, cleaning latrines, all these things, right? This is part of the service of being a monk, is to participate in the upkeep of the ashram. And so this monk is a dedicant and has his teacher, his master, that he takes these sort of directives from, these directions, right? He's learning from this teacher. And the teacher said, "Oh, I think tomorrow we will be going fishing." And the monk gets very, very happy, exceedingly so. He's just beaming with joy, smiling ear to ear. "Oh my gosh, teacher, did you know that is my most favorite thing in the world? That is the thing I want to do more than anything, is fish. I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy right now. And you've made me so happy when you told me that." And the monk is walking around and he's whistling while he's working and he's doing all of his stuff. And it's a whole different world. He's enjoying himself. And then the teacher comes back and says, I am so very sorry to tell you that tomorrow, actually, we had another plan and we will not be able to go fishing tomorrow. And the monk throws his towel down, right? And he storms out of the room and he's so upset and his face is red and he sits down and he clenches his fists and he's so angry and disappointed, and the teacher comes out and sees this and says, what's going on? Can you tell me what's happening for you? And the monk says, I'm so angry at you right now. You told me we were going to do this thing, and then you took it away from me, and I'm so angry. And the teacher said, hey, in the same day, with nothing changing outside of yourself, the same tasks for you to perform, in the same place that you perform them every day, you allowed yourself to both become the happiest I've ever seen you and the most angry I've ever seen you, and nothing around you changed. He said, but that's not true. You said I'd do this, and then you said we're not going to do that. And he said, yes, but nothing changed in this moment. The only thing that changed is you. You made the decision to be this happy, and you made this decision to be this sad. And I think that that's what we're getting at when we're looking at these agreements, which takes us into the next couple of agreements, right? The second agreement is don't take anything personally. You know, when the teacher suggested that they were maybe going to have time to fish, the monk took this very personally. This is his most favorite thing, and he took it as if this is about him and for him, um, and then when he was told it's not going to happen, he acted as if it was a slight to him in particular, that the teacher was harming him in particular because he was emotionally upset. And the teacher was trying to tell him, you know, there's only truth. How you feel about that is how you make it. You make it so. And the teacher was trying to help this student to see that, and the student was taking that personally. And then that brings us into today's agreement. Don't make assumptions. And this is one that I think I know I do quite regularly. um, and a lot of times our assumptions are so sneaky that we don't see them as assumptions, right? We view them as a given that someone else is feeling this way or is going to do this thing for my benefit. Or the opposite. We assume that someone is going to do this thing for their own benefit and to not benefit myself or to cause me harm. And we don't always see them as assumptions when they are embedded in our premises for our relationships. You know, all the time, you know, well, real friends don't do this. Real friends do this. And so we have these romanticized idea of how other people are to behave in relationship to us, you know. And this is a way that we have cleverly devised our lives so that we don't have to express our needs. Because expressing our needs is something we learned from a young age is not acceptable to a lot of us. You know, we would express a need as a child and we'd be told, stop your whining. You know, we'd be told, oh, it's all about you. You know, you're so selfish. And I know that I've repeated that sentiment. I've repeated that sentiment in my life to people. I have carried that toxic response to, or reaction, maybe a toxic reaction to somebody expressing a need because I took their expression of a need as an expression of my incompetence. When someone needed something that I didn't provide, I took that as a signal of I'm incompetent. They think I'm incompetent. And I'd get defensive. This has happened in my life. And in fact, I think I just did it right before this trip. I didn't express a need. It was very small. I didn't express a need that I would need to wash some clothes before my trip. Of course, I had days leading up to it. I could have done that. And then the laundry was being used and I was upset. Like, well, why didn't you think that I would need that? It's such an asshole thing for me to have done. But I also recognize it was part of my training. It's part of my training in this dysfunctional way that we learn what we think love is. We think that love is reading each other's minds and providing for the other before they express a need, but that's not it. That's maybe being a good servant, which is okay. I like to be of service. I do. I like to be of service in a way that others feel that they're being cared for and tended to. And I like to feel served. I like it when someone tends to my needs and my desires and my concerns. I enjoy that. It took me a long time to enjoy that. For the longest time, I would deny. No, no, no. I'm fine. Please don't bother with me. No, no, no. Please, please, please. I'm fine. I'm fine. Someone. Oh, Michael, you need to get some rest. No, no, no. I'm fine. Please, I got this. Of course, I needed rest. I'm a human. You're a human. You need rest. You need food. You need love and attention and play. We need these things. But there was something in my life that trained me away from expressing a need. And I think that if I look hard enough, it was probably the exact same predicament. That when I expressed my need, someone in my life who I expressed it to took it personally, and they felt as if I was expressing their incompetence. And so they got defensive. So I learned from a young age, in very subtle ways, from people who love me dearly. They didn't intend to pass this toxic thing on. That's not what I'm saying. This isn't a nefarious program. This is us not being impeccable with our word and not using our way that we function in this world in a healthy and loving and kind manner. We were doing it without awareness. When I was behaving this way, I was behaving outside of my awareness. And what I mean by that is my awareness is, on one level, being aware of how I'm affecting others, right? But also on a deeper place, being aware of why I'm responding with this resentment. Being aware of why it is I feel resentful or feel angered or feel abandoned or slighted or unseen. Why is it that I'm feeling invisible when I know that I'm not? But I'm unaware of something. I'm unaware of the predicament that I'm in, where I have experienced this thing maybe in my past, and I learned to believe that it was a certain way of being. And I just take that for granted, that that's who I am. That because I've been this way for so long, this must be who I am. But it's not a character trait. It's not a natural born tendency that we have. It's a response to some stimuli, and we needed to learn a way to get our needs met. And that one worked. That one worked at some point. It worked to believe that it's not okay to express my needs outright, so I had to learn ways to be a manipulator, to manipulate situations to get my needs met. I took that on, and I got good at it. And I got good at it because we get good at the things that serve us for our survival. And when we see that it works, well, then we think we're doing the right thing. We convince ourselves that we must be doing the right thing. And then our response when we're told in certain ways that we're not doing the right thing is, oh, you just don't understand. When the truth is much deeper. The truth is, we make some assumptions that this is how you should be. But more importantly, this is how I should be. I assume that I'll be able to do this thing because I believe that I should be able to do this thing. And then when I can't do the thing, I assume that it's because I have lack of character or I am worth less than I thought. So Don't make assumptions is really an extremely beneficial agreement. Learn how we can express our needs and our desires before we have the need, before it's an emergency and there's a scarcity. Had I said in the time leading up to the day before I left, hey, on this day I plan to do my laundry before my trip, I know guaranteed that I would have had an empty washing machine. It would have been no stress. But I didn't say that. And I didn't express that need. And then that digs in deeper because I responded in a way that was maybe hurtful. I didn't scream and yell or anything like that, but I said things that made another person feel as if they were the ones who were not insightful and not meeting a need when it was actually me the whole time, right? It was me that wasn't meeting a need. I had a need and I didn't meet it. I didn't meet it by advocating for myself and asking for the thing that I needed. And that led to a series of problems and responses and reactions down the line. And this is what it means to make an assumption. You assume that someone else is going to know what you need as a way to protect myself from having to express my needs, because my expression of need, I have learned, is not an expression of need. It's an expression of lack. It's an expression of being less than. It's being needy. That's somehow a word that we've used as a pejorative, to be needy. But what does that mean? When somebody's needy, what does that mean? Why do we use this in such a negative way? I'm a person who lives in service. I have multiple jobs that I perform for money, and those are all being of service. So when I hear people in my line of work talk about a person that they're working, serving, who is needy, I think, well, good for you. You found somebody that needs you. Awesome. You get to be of service. But that's not what they mean. No, this person's really needy. You're going to have to work. Well, maybe we're just going to have to meet needs. Maybe that takes a little bit more time and a little bit more self-involvement and inspection of your needs and your ability to express or not express and communicate with love and kindness and awareness the things that you need. Maybe that's the need right here. So who's needy? Maybe all of us. None of us were built with built-in calorie machines that feed us, and none of us have extraordinary amounts of fur that keep us warm in frigid temperatures. We have acculturated ourselves to need housing, right? We need water. We aren't born satiated with water. Like, all of us are needy. So don't make assumptions. Learn to comfortably and healthily express your need and listen attentively to others when they express theirs. And if someone is expressing their needs in unhealthy ways, then it's actually beneficial to you because it's teaching you where your needs are. If someone is being manipulative and coming at you in a way that you don't like, that you don't appreciate, then there's an opportunity for you to meet one of your needs and say, excuse me, I'm here to connect with you, but when you speak to me in this way, I start to shut down, and I don't want to do that. So can we either change the way we communicate or maybe separate and come back another time? Boom, you just met a need. You expressed a need. A healthy, wonderful, beautiful boundary. But we need to learn these things. And we need to learn not to hold somebody in judgment when they express their need, starting with myself. So I'm really, really into these, going through these agreements deeper. One of the practices that Journey Home Meditation has held for the last 3 years has been regularly reading sutras. In fact, for the first 2 years, we had a thing called Sutra Saturday, where every Saturday we went through a sutra, a teaching, a small, simple seeming teaching, and we dissected. And we'd spend an hour and a half some Saturdays just going over one sentence. And it was really quite lovely. So maybe that's something that we'll bring back again soon. Let's see. But I'm really enjoying and appreciating Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, and the time to break it apart and see how it applies in my life. And it very much so does. So I'm thinking I got to get going here in just a minute because I want to be a part of what's happening over at the conference today. And I thought that maybe we could just spend a few moments finding our meditation posture. It's that place of balance in our body. So if you're seated as I am in a chair, you can have your feet flat to the floor or crossed in any number of positions. If you're seated on the floor, on a rug, a mat, or a pillow, wherever you are, the goal here is to find a place of the least amount of stress or strain in our body as we breathe in through the nose to the bottom of the belly and release. Relaxing the back, and letting the shoulders drop, bringing the shoulder blades together in the back just slightly so that you can open the chest and open the heart. And from this point forward, your practice is a devotional practice to breath. We want to facilitate, to make easier, our body's ability to breathe in deeply. And when I say deeply, I don't mean large gulping breaths. This is not an all-you-can-breathe buffet. When I say deeply, I mean deep into the body. Bring that breath all the way down to your perineum, right to the bottom of your spine. And release. We want to be careful to not be breathing too much into our chest alone. We want to breathe in so that the belly is receiving a lot more movement. This is the way that our body is going to send its own signals that we are calm, we are at peace. And it's going to start relaxing our muscles with the release of hormones with each breath. Maybe today for our mantra, breathing in, all I need is here. Breathing out, I am present with it. I need is here. I am present with it. All I need is here. I am present with it. Feel the shift in the body as you relax into this flowing pattern like the waves lapping onto the shore. Breathing in, the waves come in. Breathing out, the waves go out. Everything I need is here. I am present with it. Thanks for being here this morning. Please feel free to reach out to me at journeyhomemeditation@gmail.com, or you can send a message through any of the social media outlets that you may be finding this video broadcast on. You can also find this in high quality audio on Spotify, Audible, and other podcasting sites. Message through there as well. There's a lot of ways to reach out. I'd love to be in contact with you. Find a way to express a need today and see what happens. See what happens. I love you all.